Oh my lord, was I foolish. I kept resetting this page over and over again, thinking, oh, maybe it's next Thursday. But no, here we are. We have a new preview today. Well, today as I'm recording this on Thursday the 20th. This might not be out till tomorrow. I'm not sure, depending on just how much time I have available today. I have to be on a podcast in like 23 minutes. So let's get down to business. So we are getting Falcon. I thought it was going to be Captain America, Sam Wilson, if anything, based on the movie. But here we are. And this is going to be my first reaction to everything. Once again, I don't read through the article just because an entire video of me just reacting to an article, I think, is just not going to be great. But let's get down to business and defeat the Huns. That's for my old heads out there. Okay, so let's see. We've got Sam Wilson. Okay, actually, that silhouette makes a lot more sense now. Okay, so we got, let's see, where can we find, okay. So we're going to just react to this as we get to it. I guess we'll find the hero. The hero's not always necessarily picture number 2, so we'll get to it all here real quick. But we've got Sam Wilson. He is a 3 recovery alter ego shield traded alter ego. He has the ability Birds of a Feather. Action, discard 1 card from your hand, search your deck, and discard pile for a bird card and add it to your hand. Okay, so that seems, I'm going to be honest, on the surface, that sounds a little weird. Just like, it's a weird, like, so there's just going to be bird traded cards, but we'll see how this goes. On the 6 hand size, 10 hit points, all pretty basic, depending on what bird cards do, and it does add it to your hand. So you're discarding a card to basically replace it with something you do know. And I can respect that. I can respect the idea of you have a card that's just not going to do anything for you. Go get a card you specifically want. That's pretty good. Any shield traded, which is something that I don't know that I necessarily would have put onto Sam Wilson. I do think we need more shield traded stuff. So all power to him. But let's see what kind of bird cards we have here. So we've got Red Wing, fully expected this one. 2-cost ally, he's the identity specific one, maybe more than that, but for right now he is an identity specific one. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health, aerial, avenger, bird. So good, he is an avenger, that seems appropriate. And unlike in the MCU, he is an actual bird, which is cool. I think he's a red-tailed hawk for all the Animorph fans out there. With the hero action, exhaust Red Wing, return him to your hand and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Choose to either deal X damage to an enemy or remove X damage from a scheme where X is the number of star and boost icons in the discarded card's boost area. So exhaust him, return him to your hand, discard the top card of the encounter deck, and then you get the choice of either dealing damage or removing threat. I like this. I like that it is one that comes down. It can immediately just be, 1, 2, 3 damage, possibly more than that because you are counting the stars. And I guess I can't think of a card that has 3 boost icons and then also has a boost ability. That seems pretty heavy-handed. But that also does bring up the amount of what you're going to be doing, the amount of the effect, because you're going to hit less zeros. You're going to hit more 1s and 2s and 3s, and so this actually seems pretty good. Hard to say necessarily. Maybe he's going to have some kind of way to up the amount of boost icons on something somewhere in his kit, but let's see here. And then we've got Falcon. Okay, so he is okay. I like his stats. So Falcon is a 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense hero with the aerial and avenger trait. Love seeing aerial. 5 hand size, 10 hit points, and during the player phase, play with the top card of the encounter deck face up. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes Red Wing much better when you know what you're about to hit. Eagle-eyed, after you play an aerial card, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Okay, so, and that's not forced, so you don't have to. But that's a nice way to set up the top card of your deck. Oh my gosh, okay, so unlike Magic, who lets you know the top card of your deck, Falcon's going to know the top card of the encounter deck. And that's helpful, one, because you can set up your boost icons. If you happen to stun or confuse, you can set up what your encounter card's going to be. This gives you knowledge, and I think it's enough knowledge that you're not going to get overwhelmed with choices. I think that any time where, the is it the intelligence card out of the Nick Fury pack, or out of the Nick Fury pre-constructed deck, where you get to look at all the encounter cards and the top card of the encounter deck. Like, that's really powerful, but I also do think that that can turn into information overload. And this seems much more straightforward. And I think it's a limited amount of information, but it's information that you're going to be able to leverage. His 2/2/2 stats also seem pretty good. Seems like a classic Captain America kind of stat line. Also, Nick Fury's the same way. It's just good, well-rounded hero. The Mario of Smash Brothers stat line. I'm all for this. Bird of Prey, 2-cost event, aerial attack, hero action, deal 4 damage to an enemy. You may discard the top card in the encounter deck, which you're going to know, to deal 1 additional damage to that enemy for each star and boost icon on the discarded boost area. Okay, so I don't want anyone to think that I ripped this idea off. I have been working on, where is it here? Okay, sorry, wrong screen. I have been working on a Spider-Punk hero, and he happens to do something very similar. So I've been playing around with boost icons. This is more powerful than what Spider-Punk is doing here. But just to be clear, when I eventually make the video where I show this off, I was not copying this effect. I had this as a separate idea. In fact, the Discord will show that. But love this design space. Love the extra step of reveal the top card of the encounter deck. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But for this kind of an effect, yeah, that seems pretty good. And yeah, now I'm beginning to believe that the version that I created is I was not cooking here, because this is more damage and you know what the top card is. But I love this card already, because I already feel like I've played around with something very similar and I'm enjoying it, and I think this is going to be a fun card as well. It might scratch an itch that I have and that other players won't, but this seems appropriate. Oops. There we go. Bird's Eye View, a 2-cost event. Okay, it's going to be the same thing. Aerial Thwart, hero action, remove 3 threat from a scheme. You may discard the top card of the encounter deck to remove 1 threat from the scheme for each star and or boost icon, and in the discard pile area. That again, where is disarm the posers? So I also undersold this clearly, because this is the same cost but removes 1 less threat. Also doesn't know the top. Yeah. So I also designed this card. This is funny. I like this design space though. I wanted to build something that was a mix between Scarlet Witch and Domino, and this kind of feels like the same kind of area that I eventually sort of parallel designed my way into. Yeah, I like this card already. I've play tested with a card that is less powerful than this, and I have enjoyed it. Maybe I need to rethink just the amount of threat. Like, maybe I need to boost my playtest card up to 2, or from 2 to 3, and then on the other one go up from go up to 4 instead of 3. Either way, how I'm going to say right now, I think that is the end of my comparing cards I've designed against what Fantasy Flight has designed. So 1-cost upgrade, aerial evacuation, aerial preparation, excellent preparation, hero interrupt. When another friendly character would be dealt any amount of damage, discard aerial evacuation, prevent all of that damage, and change to alter ego form. If that character is in hero, they also change to alter ego form. Okay, so that's a free swap, and I like this with practiced plan, where you can send a preparation back to your hand. This seems good. That's a basic card, so you can put that into any deck with this. Yeah, this is a unique twist on the change form, just kind of like card archetype kind of thing, and I like it. It prevents all damage. It gets you into alter ego, which may be beneficial because you're going to block the villain's attack possibly, or the villain attack for somebody else, and then you're going to get them out of the way for any minions that might be engaged. The encounter card effects might change. Yeah, this is an interesting card, and I'm intrigued. Draw Their Fire, a 1-cost upgrade, or sorry, 1 per player upgrade. I haven't missed out on any of these, have I? Okay. Well, okay. I don't know why the bird would be. Okay, but 1 per player cost upgrade, aerial preparation. After the villain phase begins, discard Draw Their Fire. Falcon does not exhaust to defend until the end of the phase. Oh, Okay, so you can just defend for the entire table. Just defend 2 damage, defend 2 damage. That's really cool. And not even just the villain, but okay, like if it's in single player, this only costs 1, but you can sit there and defend the villain, all the minions for 2. I hope that that's how it works. I hope that it is that, like, you know, you defend for 2, and that you can then defend for another 2, another 2, another 2. I'm guessing that's how it's designed. I've not seen anything in the rules that basically say, like, you know, you burn up a certain amount of defense. I don't think that's a thing in this game. Like Magic, if you were to do that, it's like, well, you only have so many hit points. You don't get to, like, regrow the hit points between creature defenses. But this is interesting design space. I like that it's a preparation, so you can rebuy it. I like the use of 1 per player here, because I think that it would be very powerful if it was a different way, but I just think that in general, this is, oh my gosh, this is such a cool card. And it really gives Falcon a very interesting place at the table, gives him some place in multiplayer, because right now he has felt an awful lot like a really good single player hero, but in this case, this would be very helpful. Like, this is, get Falcon and Ghostfire at the same table, and you're going to have a little bit of disruption, but you might have a really good multiplayer game if you have both of those at the table, or you might have one where they keep bumping into each other. Talon Line, a 2-cost upgrade item. Hero response: after you resolve the Eagle-Eyed ability, Falcon's Eagle-Eyed ability, discard Talon Line. For each icon in the discarded card's boost area, choose 1. Ready, a character you control, stun an enemy. So the Eagle-Eyed ability is after you play an aerial card, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Okay, so you're playing off that. After you resolve this ability, discard for each icon on the discarded card. Okay, choose 1. So yeah, I like this. You can ready up, you know, I mean, it's all up in the air, and it's not a forced response, so I mean, why would it be? But you get to choose to either, like, okay, so you know you're going to be doing 2 of them, so you get to stun an enemy, maybe ready up a hero. And it has to be, okay, so it has to be a character you control. I guess that's an additional important thing. Overall, yeah, no, this is cool. The power level of things is dependent on the cards around it, but this seems like a good card. This seems like a fun effect. And I think when I say something's good, I really mean like fun, because good is so subjective. And as we've found out with Maria Hill, the difference between powerful and fun is there's definitely a line, and I don't know that we necessarily understood it until it was kind of solidified with her. But I think this is a fun card with a fun effect. All right, and then we have, okay, so he's going to come with leadership. So he's got a leadership card, Flight Squadron. Play only if your identity has the aerial trait. Max 1 team. Okay, so it's a team card. I overlooked that. Max 1 team card per player. If each of your allies has the aerial trait, increase your ally limit by 1, and this card gains response after you play an aerial card. Exhaust this card. Ready an ally you control. That is pretty cool. So we've got Maria Lambeau here. Looks like that might be Jocasta. That looks like Sunfire, Rogue, Captain Marvel, the Vision. Yeah, it just gives you a really good idea of, like, this looks like some kind of Hulk character, but gives you a really good idea of who to use this with. And overall, I like this. You're not just the Avengers. You're not just the Uncanny X-Men. You're not just the Guardians of the Galaxy. You can be the Flight Squadron, which does not sound like, that doesn't ring any bells for me in terms of a team that exists prior. But yeah, this is I like the expansive of team cards. Yeah, kind of like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Huggin and Munnin, ringing some bells with Pokemon for me here. 2-cost ally, leadership, 1 thwart, 1 attack, aerial, Asgard bird. Okay, Asgard, you have my attention. 2 health. Response: after this card enters play, search the top 10 cards of the encounter deck for a minion and put it into play engaged with you. Oh my gosh, be still my heart. Blue Thor was already good. This is just going to make it even better. Love that. Ready 1 character you control for each icon. For each icon on that minion's boost area. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay. Oh my god, yes. So yeah, Blue Thor is just getting better and better. Something you can find with what card is that? The Bifrost to just go look for something. Oh my gosh, I love this. Even not in the Asgard trait, but just in terms of just as an ally, this is cool for anybody that wants to just put an ally in front of them so that like you get X-23, where she can just defeat a minion and she readies back up. Like minion fodder, you get your ready up character. Oh my, yeah, I love this card. This is probably going to flop for me sometimes, but I love this card. And you get to look at the top 10, so you can pick a minion that has the most advantageous in whatever ways you need it to be. Arrow, okay, the Marvel Snap players definitely recognize. Let me just make sure I'm not... Okay, sorry, I just don't want to miss the podcast. I have to be honest in a couple minutes. This may be broken up into 2 parts because this is going a little bit long. You all won't know that. I'll know that. So Arrow, 3 cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 health. Ariel and Agents of Atlas. I'd love to see the Agents of Atlas. More and more traits to unlock. Hero action, exhaust arrow, choose a player. Until the end of the phase, each aerial character that player controls gets +1 attack. Well, that's pretty cool. I could also see, I guess if you would have asked me, I could have also seen her being somebody that maybe does like Storm, where she can push threat to another scheme, or can take a minion and move it from one player to the other, although in single player that's less exciting. This is a cool effect. I think she's an Atlantean. She was in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon. Wave. I think that's Wave in the background. Let's see here. So yeah, other than that, 3 is a little expensive, but at the same time, okay, you're not dealing damage to her, so actually that is better. Okay, I was thinking she was like Diamondback, where you have to deal damage to do this, but no, you just exhaust her and you bump up all your aerial characters, or a player's aerial characters. Once again, I see no problems with this. More aerial characters to make the aerial archetype better, all the better. Wingman title, 0 cost upgrade title, attached to an aerial ally, +1 or max 1 per ally. Interrupt. When another aerial ally would take any consequential damage, exhaust attached ally, prevent 1 of that damage. Okay, that's pretty cool. If you just have like an ally that you don't necessarily want to be doing a whole lot of attacking for, yeah, that actually, just as a way to protect your allies, this is nice. And I like that it's restricted to aerial in many ways. It has to be an aerial ally. It also has to be an aerial ally that you are protecting. Yeah, that overall, that just seems like a very inconsequential thing to have, but at the same time seems very good to be working with. But at this point, just to be careful, I am going to... We've got how many more cards? We've got 7 more cards to talk about. Yeah, so I'm just going to stop the recording. I will pick this up when I am done talking about Daredevil episode 4. All right, 1 podcast later, and we are back. We've already discussed Wingman, but let's see what else is here. I had to close this window so that I wouldn't be tempted to like dig in further. Let's see. So we got Strength in Diversity. That's an interesting name that's going to trigger some people. 2 cost event, 2 per person cost event. Alliance, okay, yeah, we expect that. And it is a leadership card, so it's not just not just Falcon. Hero action, for each different trait on friendly characters in play, choose, remove 1 threat from a scheme, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Okay, so we've sort of seen this with Maria Hill's cards, where she, for each support you had in play, did something. This is different traits. So this does, you know what I like about this? I like that it pushes you to not have consolidated all into Avengers, into Asgard, into X-Men, into X-Force. It's like, use a diversity of characters, something that we really haven't seen before, be something that is something you care about. And I think that just in terms of, it's in play too. So okay, that adds to the alliance, all the better. Okay, this seems like it could obviously be a little expensive if you have each player like throw down a double resource that pays for it, but this could be a very good card in multiplayer. You get enough and you're suddenly like, okay, we've got 7 different traits to worry about. We can do a whole bunch. Yeah, this seems, wow, this is cool. Wild resource. I don't know there's too much more to say. I mean, this could be a dud. You could have this and it doesn't do much of anything, but overall, I like it. Adam Warlock. Okay, so we've already seen this. It's a reprint, but it is an aerial character. So 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 health. Response after Warlock attacks or thwarts, discard a card at random from your hand. If the printed resource has strength, deal 3, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Energy, heal 3 damage from an identity. Genius, deal 3 damage to an enemy. This always screws me up, well, even the real card. And then wild is choose one of the above. So I've gotten, oh no, I wouldn't have. I was gonna say that I've gotten some use out of this with Domino. I must be thinking of a different character that I've gotten use out of this with, but this is an okay card. I would say that it has its place. Obviously the aerial helps, but overall, this isn't a card that I get a whole lot of use out of, but in terms of like a reprint, in terms of just a good card, sometimes you just need those cards that are easy to swap out. And this is one of those ones that definitely has a purpose, but I could see being an easy swap out for a different aerial character. Cloud9, another reprint from the Sinister Motives era. I want to say, was this a Ironheart card? Either way, 3-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, aerial champion, 3 health, hero action, exhaust Cloud9, choose a player until the end of the phase. Each aerial character that player controls gets +1 thwart. So is it just the... Yeah, it's basically, it's arrow, but for thwart instead of attack. So we do have that 1-2 punch. Whatever you prioritize, you put out. But we know we've seen this card before. Nothing too much to say about it. I've used it in an aerial Valkyrie deck. She's been good there because you can get aerial onto Valkyrie pretty easily. You can get aerial onto, oh, you know what? I probably used Adam Warlock with a Spectrum deck. But yeah, she's also good with Spectrum because Spectrum naturally has aerial. Haven't had a chance to use it with Angel yet, but Angel is another aerial character who added a lot to the game as well. All right, and then we move to the Thunderbolt pack in the back. So we've got Fixer. He is a minion with 2 scheme, 1 attack, 15 health, elite genius Thunderbolt. So you're going to be able to use him in the Thunderbolt scenario from the box, because I believe well, I already know this, but like basically I think what the set is looking for is you need a set that has an elite Thunderbolt minion in it. Obviously, the amount of health, the fact that they have Villainous, the fact that they have Victory 1 is very telling of that's what this is for, but you can also put it in anything else. It just becomes a very strong minion that can show up if you happen to substitute it in as a modular encounter. With the Forced ability, also note how many boost icons it has, but the Forced ability, or the Forced interrupt of when a non-scenario specific tech attachment would be attached to the villain, attach it to Fixer instead. When a non-scenario specific tech attachment. So if I'm understanding this correctly, so like I know it's not tech, maybe it is tech, but like I know that it's definitely weapon. Taking someone like Crossbones. Crossbones has his like weapon deck, but that weapon deck is not actually from the Crossbones encounter, and those are weapons. They might also be tech. So in that scenario, or in that situation, in that context, when that weapon, or if it's tech, basically something that's outside of the scenario you're playing, if it would be attached to the villain, it's attached to Fixer instead. That is interesting. That makes him more deadly. That kind of breaks everything a little bit. Obviously, text on that card that refers to the villain refers to Fixer instead. I think that text is needed. I understand that that's what would happen. Obviously, there is some confusion there, but I've played enough other card games where there are characters that bend the rules like this that makes absolute sense to me. Cool minion. I haven't even played the Thunderbolt scenario yet, so what he could possibly do there, what he could possibly do in other places. Yeah, it's just cool. Jetpack, a tech attachment attached to Fixer, otherwise attached to the villain. Attached enemy gains aerial. Okay, that I don't know that that's always relevant. Maybe his pack will have something that will say that, you know, an aerial enemy doesn't take damage. I bet this will probably say that. Actually, now that I say that out loud. Force interrupt when attached character would take 3 or more damage. Okay, so there's a threshold. You can get 2 damage in, and it's not going to matter. Prevent all that damage and discard jetpack. Okay, so I could see, I guess I would have assumed this would have been the inverse. Like, you have to deal at least 3 damage before any damage goes through. But this is if you're doing 1, 2 at a time, that doesn't matter. It's when you finally deal 3 damage, you prevent all that damage, and the jetpack falls off, and I guess, whatever. I'm not going to worry about the thematics here. This is just kind of a interesting card, and, you know, puts Fixer in the front and center. Then we've got Tech Pack, attached to Fixer, otherwise attached to the villain. Attached character gets +1 attack for each tech attachment it has. Okay, yeah, so this seems very thematic. Gets +1 scheme, +1 attack off the bat. And so it's gonna, okay, so like, if you got a villain, they're automatically gonna get +1, but they get an additional +1. Okay, I guess I'm not sure. I want to read this as they're always going to get +1 attack, +1 scheme, and that if there are, I mean, this card in itself already sort of makes it so that they're going to get +1, but I have to wonder if this means that they get +2. Oh, for each other. Okay, that's helpful. Okay, this does not count. It just gets +1 attack for the attachment just being there, but then it gets an additional for every other tech attachment. Okay, I was confused for a second there. Hero action exhausts any number of characters you control with combined thwart greater than the attached enemy's scheming. Discard this card. Okay, that's an interesting twist. That might require you to have 2 or 3 characters exhaust instead of just 1. Sometimes this is so easy to kind of dismantle, but yeah. Okay, this is a card that's definitely a thinker. It took me a little second to kind of get over that, but I think I understand it now. I can safely say that I think I understand it. And last card is Technological Innovation. Side scheme with 4 threat. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a tech attachment and reveal it. Place 1 additional threat here for each tech card in play. And it's got a boost icon, so this isn't too bad. It's obviously, it's going to make the villain or Fixer himself a little bit more deadly. Hopefully that means you're only looking at maybe 6 or 7 threat max on here. I can see it get out of hand real quick, but yeah, this seems reasonable. Yeah, overall. But yes, so who cares about Ariel? Got these. I love this card. But then is there anything else that's really kind of standing out? Techno. As an elite minion, Fixer's encounter set as part of the encounter, part of the scenario. That said, it's still a modular counter set that adds one. Means you can add Fixer to any scenario with extra challenge. Suit up if you want to win, and I'm guessing this comes out this summer. It's not going to be in time for Con of Heroes. Arrives in June. Okay, but overall, I guess I thought this was going to be Luke Cage, but that's a very close cut haircut. That makes sense for Sam Wilson. I like that Sam Wilson gets to be the Falcon, that he's not Captain Sam Wilson, Captain Falcon. I think that would have been, I don't know. I get that it's thematic for the movie, but at the same time, I want Sam Wilson to just be able to be the Falcon. And overall, this seems really cool. I like Red Wing. I like what Falcon is doing. I like these two, I like the attachment or whatever it is. I like this card that allows you to block a bunch. I like the thwart and attack events. Overall, yeah, I'm excited. What are your thoughts? Where does your mind go as we look at the new hero coming out in June? Are you excited? Let me know in the comments. But until next time, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you in the next video.